Hey, Shalom Yahab Hashem Yahushai Barakatham to all the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Ilathab Hashem Yahushai. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Ilathab Hashem Yahushai to all the sisters. This is the ISUPK, started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandment John Yohana. You understand? This is the Las Vegas Tuesday Brotherhood class. And as the title says, we're going to be going over how brotherhood is a commandment. This is basically a continuation from last week's class. Just to wrap it up, we didn't finish all the scriptures that I had prepared. I still have quite a few left, so we're gonna get into that. You understand? And if we're able to finish that, I got another topic for us to go over as well. Understand? Before we get into it, just like we say in every class, you understand? Make sure that y'all do your part to like and share the video for yourselves. You understand? So that we get this word out to the four corners of the earth. All right. Because there could be somebody on your Facebook feed, your Twitter feed, your, social media feed, period. Right? A so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American man or woman that is trying to turn their lives around for the better. Well, quite frankly, the only way that a so-called Black, Hispanic, and First Nation man or woman are able to do that is if they start following the Most High God, which is, where the only place that you can actually do that is in the ISUPK under Commandment John Yohana. Understand? Just asking that y'all do your part while I'm doing mine to share this class, and then we'll get into it. All right. In the meantime, if there's anybody online that's got any questions, we encourage y'all to post the questions online. If I am able to answer it scripturally, I will to the best of my ability. If I am unable to answer your question, I will let you know that I'm unable to answer it for myself. Write your question down and take that question to a mightier man than myself. All right. In the ISUPK, we are not like the Christian church where we sit there and do that pastor shuffle and tell you about how we feel and, fill your ears up with words that just make you feel good and sound good and this, that, and the other, right? That's not what we do here in the ISUPK. We deal with the truth and nothing but the truth. All right. We are not in this for any type of personal gain. You understand? Like how the Christian church is. All right. Hey, Shalom, Lord of Christ, Trooper Allah. It's good to see you, right? It's good to see you. It's tight. But yeah, if there's any questions, feel free to post them online. I'll get to them when I'm able to. All right. We'll find where we left off last week. Let's see. I know we read that. I forgot to write it down because I'm a booth. Let's see here. Also give y'all some time to decide if y'all got a question or not. No, we read that. That. Let's go to John. Bear with me 1 second, y'all, Baba Kashai. And then we'll get into this. Okay. I think that's where we're going to start. Let me just check chapter 13. All right, you know what? This is where we'll start. We're going to start at the book of John, chapter 13, verse 34. All right. Book of John, chapter 13, verse 34. And remind you, this is written in red, which means that Yahweh Shah Mashiach, our King in the Hebrew, or Jesus Christ in the English, this is him himself speaking, which means that we need to shut the hell up and actually listen. All right. The book of John, chapter 13, verse 34. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another. So first of all, Christ is letting you know, all right, look, this is the new commandment that you're getting from me, myself, all right? That ye love one another, that ye love one another, all right? As I have loved you, that ye also love one another. So now you need to think about the type of love that Yahweh Shah Mashiach in the Hebrew or Jesus Christ in the English, the type of love that he had for his people, okay? The Israelites at that time were sitting there, and you know what? And it's the same thing going on today, but so-called blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women were, just brushing him off, taking advantage of his blessings, but wasn't really about following him, right? Still bash him. And mind you, in the end, what did they end up doing? They put him on the cross, right? They end up murdering Yahweh, an innocent man. Okay, that blood is basically that comes down on our hands, right? But he did that he did that sacrifice. He sacrificed himself for us. Now, why would he sacrifice himself? Because that's how much he loves his people. That's how much Yahweh Shah Mashiach is about so-called blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. You understand that he would sacrifice, he would spill his own blood for the sake of his own people, so that his own people will be able to once again be under the graces of the Most High God. You understand? Hey, Shalom, little Christ says it's good to see you. You understand? Yahweh Shah's love is that great and that vast for us. And so he's letting us know that, hey, this is the new commandment that I'm giving you, that you love each other the way that I loved you. So that also lets you know, man, be prepared. You need to have the type of brotherhood and the type of sisterhood to sacrifice your life for your brothers and sisters. It's that simple. All right. When you look at these generals, when you look at these captains, when you look at these officers that are in the ISUPK, they're doing exactly that. Now, you might be thinking, okay, how is it that they're actually sacrificing their lives? Now, mind you, not all of us have actually spilled blood just yet for one another, for our brothers and sisters and whatnot. But we damn near right there on it, because yes, they do, when we're on those street corners, they do try to attack us. You understand? Our lives are on the line when we go out there and do our camp speakings on the weekends, right? But also, you got to think, we're giving up our time, giving up our lives, like what y'all say in the world, YOLO, live your best life. Do you, right? We don't do that. A priest and prophet of the Lord doesn't do that, because we got more important things to do, such as bring our brothers and sisters that are lost in the world out of the world into the truth, so that we can start serving the Most High God again like we were supposed to. You understand? We sacrifice that, we sacrifice our Saturdays, we sacrifice our Sundays. I mean, hell, when you see a priest and prophet of the Lord, in teaching these classes, man, that priest is sacrificing his time to teach that class. You understand? That this is still a sacrifice that we make to make sure to actually rebuild our people. You understand? Because you know what, quite frankly, and I'm not saying this in a negative light, like I would really, I gotta drag myself into the car and, I'm like moping around all the way up into the classroom before I gotta start teaching. And I'm like, okay, gotta get this mopey face off of my face, and put my teaching face on, put my teaching voice on, because I don't want to do this. That's not what I'm saying. All right. But what you do got to think is I could make the choice to do something else. right? I could just be, sitting at home playing Xbox all doggone day because I don't like PlayStation. Just so y'all know, y'all ever want to get me the new next gen consoles? I don't mess with PlayStation. Y'all give me the new Xbox. You hear me? But nah, I'm just playing. But y'all understand? And that doesn't go for just me. That goes for any of the brothers that are generals, that are captains, that are officers in the ISUPK. We sacrifice the things that we would want to do with our lives to serve, to do the will of the Most High God. You understand? And that's exactly what Yahushua Mashiach did. Because you know what? I'm sure there's plenty of things that Yahushua wanted to do for himself that would have pleased himself, but he didn't do it. A prime example, in fact, is that night before that Yahushua had the night before that Yahushua went to go die on the cross. Man, he played with the most, he prayed to the Most High God. He said, "If it is your will, pass this cup from me." Now, what did he mean by that? It's a simple fact that he didn't want to die, but he'll do it if that is the will of the Most High God. You understand? And that is part of the brotherhood that all Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women need to have when we actually look at our own people. We need to have that mindset. You understand? Xbox all the time. Hey, Shalom, Lord of Christ, good to see you. But y'all understand that? You need to have that type of brotherhood, because quite frankly, if we don't return, if we don't listen to Yahushua, if we don't do as Yahushua says and do as he does, mind you, he don't just talk the talk. He also walks, he walks his talk. So if we don't do the same just like he did, then, we're going to stay in the same condition that we've been in. Or, mind you, actually, because there are those of us that, push aside our worldly wants and desires to carry out the will of the Most High God. You understand? Quite frankly, as we're doing that will, man, everybody else is essentially, you just setting yourself up to get left behind, and that's putting it lightly. Okay. To get straight to, to keep, to put it blunt, really, man, you're gonna be part of that sword that you're gonna be part of Yahushua's sword that ends up spilling your blood when he returns. You understand? Because you just showing that you wanted to do you wanted to live in your worldly ways, in your sinful ways. You understand? Because to not be brotherly, to not be sisterly, you got to think that's a commandment right here. Yahushua just gave you a commandment in the book of John 13 and 34. You understand? You understand? A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another. Now I'm gonna show y'all something real. I'm gonna explain something to y'all. A little crazy, right? Y'all may not know this, right? But when you go into the book of Deuteronomy, y'all do know that the Most High God was telling Moses the same exact thing, that it was already written that we needed to love one another, to love our brothers and sisters, to love our own nation, to prefer our own over the other nations. You understand? Matter of fact, we're gonna go ahead and pull that real quick. That's not in my in this breakdown right here, but we're gonna pull that just really quick. All right. Let's see. I know it's in the book of Deuteronomy, and that's where we're gonna go. I just need the exact chapter and verse. Oh, is it in Leviticus? Leviticus 19 and 18. Let's see. If anybody posted anything in the comments. No. All right. Leviticus 19. Oh, 19. Right. So the book of Leviticus. Now, this is the Levitical law, right? The law that was given to Moses. And this is what Moses was commanded to write down by the Most High God. The book of Leviticus, chapter 19. And we're going to start at, we'll start at 17. We'll start at 17. The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17. All right. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy brother and not suffer sin upon him. Now, mind you, it said that thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. So what are you supposed to do? Well, let's see what Yahushua said. That ye love one another. Now, he took it up a notch. Yahushua took it up a notch because he was actually, Yahushua was here to show you the example of the type of love that you're even supposed to have in the first place, which is why he follows with, as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. You understand? Now, one thing to take from the old, what you read in the Torah, the things that you read that Moses had written down, that is the letter of the law, right? It's basically a reference for you to be able to go, okay, well, you know what? It's see right here in our documents, in our history, and our culture, this says I can do this. This says I cannot do this. This says this is how we're supposed to go about this. In other words, this is our Constitution. This is a Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman's manual on how we are to deal with our own and to deal with the other nations. You understand? So from the time of Moses up until Yahushua, it's been the same thing. You understand? So in the Levitical law, that is the letter of the law. That is your reference point. But Yahushua came on the scene to show you how you're actually supposed to act out the law. You understand? Or in other words, the spirit of the law. You understand? So we're able to look at Yahushua. We're able to look at Yahushua Mashiach's spirit. You know what? This is how he went about it. This is how he went about dealing with his brothers and sisters, or like our brothers and sisters. You understand? Our brothers and sisters that did this, that had this type of trespass, the counsel that he gave on this kind of matter and that matter. You understand? He showed us how we're supposed to go about it. And quite frankly, it is not how we've been, how Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women have been dealing with each other for the last several hundreds of years. You understand? It is not. And hell, even at the time that Yahushua was here on the scene with the Sadducees and the Pharisees, the same, we weren't dealing with each other the way that we were supposed to. You understand? Them Sadducees and Pharisees, if you wasn't giving them the money that they wanted to be getting from you, that should kind of send up some, little red flags for y'all to think about, who's doing that today. And then Sadducees and Pharisees, man, they was quick to throw, to go ahead and stone you because the letter of the law said to kill you. The letter of the law said, you know what, because you did this, we are to stone, you are to get stoned for this. Now, sure, the law is the law. But the way that the Sadducees and the Pharisees were so quick to get to that, could you honestly say that the Sadducees and the Pharisees that they actually loved their brother, that they didn't have hate in their heart towards their brother, like it says in the Levitical law? That mind you, that's what they're referencing from in the first place, is what we read right here in the book of Leviticus, chapter 19. Verse 17, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. You know what they actually loved was that brother giving them money. That was the only thing that they loved. And that should send up, that right there should make you think, you know what? We're seeing that right now. We're seeing that in the Catholic churches. We're seeing that in the Christian churches. You understand? Hell, since everybody wants to try to align and talk about, because, elections is coming up. I believe they just had the Senate. Elections for the Senate and not the Senate, the governors and whatnot, governors and mayors, man, they're sitting there trying to tell us that we need to go vote, partake in that voting. But I mean, why should I partake in just, picking my new oppressor, the new person who's just going to show me the same type of hatred? Sure, some of them might show me love, but there's a requirement for that, for me to even receive that love as an individual. You understand? Because I could go up to them, give them $1 million. Okay, here's a fund your campaign. He'll get, fight for he'll fight for what I want him to do if I'm the highest bidder on that topic, on that subject. But other than that, I mean, what is me giving him my money, my vote, my support? What is that going to do for the rest of the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women? The only thing it does is benefit just me, because I'm filling up his pocket. Same thing that the Sadducees and the Pharisees were doing. And that's also what Yahushua was trying to basically remove out of our minds. Remove that part of Christianity out of our minds. You understand? Because, I mean, hell, we're not going to pull it. But a perfect precept to go along with what we were actually talking about is, and just to paraphrase it, is for the love of money is the root of all evil. You understand? Those that are putting the money over the love of for their brother and sister, that, they wicked for that. You understand? I pray that y'all do. All right, we're gonna read that again from the top. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. So you know what? You prepared to make sacrifices, man. You prepared to help that brother when he is in need. You ready to help that sister when she is in need. That is brotherhood. That is what Yahushua commanded us to do. Because when you are in the time where you need help, how are you gonna act? I mean, I wish somebody would help me. I wish I would be able to have somebody to lean on. So like, I wish I had somebody that I could go to for help. You understand? And that's another reason why in the ISUPK we stand on everything that we say. You understand that, for one, we are not affiliated with any other group. Christian, Catholic, fake Israelites. ISUPK is its own entity. It is by itself. You understand? Biggest reason is nobody can even compare and size up to us in the first doggone place. You understand? But secondly, nobody, and actually the reason why nobody can size up to us is because nobody has real brotherhood and sisterhood like the ISUPK does. You understand? Where we don't have to sit there and cry and seek far and wide to find a brother or a sister that will assist us. Man, it's a simple phone call. If you even have to do that, you might be able to just shoot a text. Hey, Salakia, sir. Wooty wooty woo. I got blase blah going on. Can the brother get some help? Man, damn near within the hour, whatever the situation is, and depending what is required to get it done, man, within that, a very reasonable time frame, now you got the funds to pay your power bill. You got the funds to pay, to go get your baby something to eat, because you know what? At the end of the day, we all understand in the ISUPK as a Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman that we are still in oppression. You understand? And a lot of us, we got to sit here and decide, man, do I go get some food, or do I keep my babies from freezing in the house or getting baked in the house because it's so doggone hot out here in Las Vegas? So I got to pay my power bill or go get something to eat. You understand? You don't have to make that decision necessarily in the ISUPK. Go ahead, pay that power bill. Hit up your respective camp leader. Hey, Salakia, sir. I need some funds to feed my baby. I need some baby formula. I need to go get some formula. I need to go get this. You understand? And you will get that help. And ain't nobody gonna sit there and be like, man, this brother is a burden. Every doggone week, it's always something that he needs. You know why? Because if you was in that situation, you would want that help your doggone self. You understand? And Christ said to love one another as thyself. So you don't want to receive no type of flack. You don't want to receive no type of, to feel like you actually a burden when quite frankly, chances are, the brothers that is helping out anyways, like they straight. They got it. That's why they're so quick to help you anyways. You understand? PlayStation God, sir. I mean, hey, you the highest ranking man, so I can't argue with you on video. But y'all understand? Either way, you're gonna receive that help because in the ISUPK, we all love the brothers and the sisters around us in this school, those that are on one accord with the Most High and Yahweh Shai Mashiach, and we love each other like we love ourselves. You understand? There's been numerous times where I had to ask for help, and hell, the biggest issue out of that was the issue I brought forward. You understand? That being putting it off to the side too much because my sorry ass at the time had a little bit too much pride. You understand what I'm saying? Had a little bit too much pride. And you know what? A lot of us have that doggone issue. And that in itself is unbrotherly. You understand? For you to not even ask for help is unbrotherly. All right? All right, so we're going to move on from that though. But that's a very heavy scripture. That is something that all so-called Blacks, Hispanics, First Nation men and women need to understand. They really need to understand that scripture in particular. You understand? Because, like I just said, I'm a so-called black man. I'm a so-called Negro from the tribe of Judah, right? I have that pride. Ain't nobody no. In my opinion, I feel like there's no other tribe out of the 12 tribes. Nobody's as prideful as Judah. You understand? I think we the most prideful ones out of all 12. But that in that sense also makes us brotherly to have that type of pride. Because quite frankly, when this brother sees that I can put my pride away to ask for help, when it comes time for him to receive help, he's gonna look back on that and be like, you know what, man, he put that nonsense to the side and asked for himself. I'm going to do it now. You understand? Instead of waiting too last minute where, you doggone, you can't even get out of the hole that you dug yourself into because you waited way too long. Now it's becoming a burden. That's why it's unbrotherly not to even ask in the first place. I pray that y'all understand. All right, we're going to drop that. Now we're going to go to the book of John, chapter 15 and verse 12. The book of John, chapter 15 and verse 12. All right. And again, this is written in red. All right. Yahweh Shai Mashiach in the Hebrew or Jesus Christ in the English. You're talking again. Means shut the hell up and listen. All right. The book of John, chapter 15, verse 12. This is my commandment. So he saying it again. That ye love one another as I have loved you. Now, the reason why I wanted, to even read this verse, even though he basically just said the same exact thing in the last verse, in the last script that I just pulled. Who repeats themselves more than anybody on the face of the earth? Let's see, we got a couple of brothers and sisters in the chat. Let's see who can tell me who repeats themselves more than anybody on the face of the earth. And it should be real simple. And there's a point to me even asking that question in the first doggone place. Give y'all a few seconds, see if anybody wants to. Okay, Khan, sis, it's Israel, but give me a worldly response. Give me the worldly answer. People that lie, no, that is not. That's not the. That's not the answer I'm looking for. I mean, maybe that's a lying tactic, I guess. I'm not really too familiar with that. Christians, no, that's not. You went from, come on, sis, you went from from Israel to Christians. You went from the right answer. I needed a worldly answer for Israel. You was right with Israel. Then you went way wrong with Christians. Although I do know what you're saying. Like in the Christian churches, they love to repeat themselves over and over with that, that hypnosis tactic of pay your tithes. God loves you when you pay your tithes. You know what I'm saying? You right on that part. Judites, you understand? Again, I wanted the worldly answer, but man, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. First Nation men and women. Ain't nobody repeat themselves more than so-called blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. Just think about it. Maybe somebody said something. Well, I wish you would. I wish you would. Oh, I wish you would. Or when the sisters girl, man, you gotta repeat damn near everything you say. I mean, I do it with my babies just to make sure that they understand. And then after I already said it umpteen million times, I say, do you understand? Do you understand what I just said? You understand what I'm saying? My point to even bringing that out in the first place is because this Bible does that from cover to cover, where it repeats itself time and time again. And quite frankly, who just repeated themselves? Yahushua Mashiach in the Hebrew, or Jesus Christ in the English. You understand? He just repeated what he just said 2 chapters ago. He said it all over again, right? Which is, my point is it's a key identifier. We might blow some Christians' minds with this one. That Christ ain't that stringy hair, feminine looking ass, white, blonde. I keep saying blonde. Blue-eyed, just girly looking ass man that they be hanging up in them Christian churches. Man, Yahushua Mashiach is a nigga like me and you. He is a so-called black man like me and you. You understand? And quite frankly, if you ever hear anybody in the ISUPK say black man or woman and just leave it at that, black still we use black as a umbrella term for all 12 tribes of Israel. So it's just a shortcut to saying blacks, Hispanics, First Nation men and women. You understand? Just so that y'all know that moving forward. All right. But that's it again. Yahushua sitting here repeating himself for one, to get the message across, to make sure you understand what the hell he's saying, what his message is, what his mission is to get his goofy ass people to love themselves, or to love, for one, for us to love ourselves, but also for us to love our brothers and sisters as we love ourselves. And then he also raised the bar by saying, man, y'all need to love each other like I loved you. Be prepared to make that sacrifice, that type of love. You understand? Which, I mean, like I said, ain't nobody repeat themselves more than so-called blacks, Hispanics, the First Nation men and women. It lets you know that Christ himself is a black man. All right? If you don't believe me, you go ahead and jump to Revelations on your own time. Go to the book of Revelation, chapter 1, 13 through 15. That gives you a undoubtedly accurate description of what Christ is. Mind you, the book is Revelation. What is a revelation? When you reveal something is being uncovered. You are now discovering something. And quite frankly, if you are a doggone Christian and you were sitting there believing that, Jesus Christ really was some white man, even though we've never heard of a white man that died for anybody else, save his own personal gain for his, maybe his family. You understand what he believed in? Ain't no white man gonna die for no nigga. Ain't no white man gonna die for no wetback. Ain't no white man gonna die for no doggone savage. He ain't dying for us. You understand? That in itself lets you know that white Jesus, you know, it's being revealed to you that Christ, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, is actually a black man. You understand? And quite frankly, from the tribe of Judah. So that's why that's even heavier. You know, in my opinion, that's what makes it even heavier as to the way that Yahweh Shai was teaching. You understand? With the type of brotherhood he was bringing forward. Because mind you as well, like what I had said earlier with the pride thing, when you let pride get in the way from you asking help, it's unbrotherly. Do y'all really think that if Yahweh Shai needed it, if he needed to ask for assistance, that he ever let pride get in the way of him? Now, mind you, to the letter of the law, Yahweh Shai Mashiach is perfect. You understand? He didn't break no laws. He didn't break not a single one of these laws in this book. So that lets you know, no, he did not allow pride to get in the way. He was the perfect example in all ways of the law. You understand? All right. All right, so now we're going to drop that one. We're going to go to the book of Psalms, chapter 55, chapter 55, and verse 20. The book of Psalms, chapter 55, and verse 20. And again, if at any time, if anybody has any questions online, feel free to post them. We'll get that answer for you. All right. Book of Psalms, chapter 50, verse 20. All right. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 50, verse 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Wait, am I at the right one? Let me just make sure. Okay. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Now, because this is the topic of the main topic is of brotherhood, you understand? What this is speaking about in particular, who online can tell me who this is referring to? Who in particular this is referring to? He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. Verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. You understand? Think about that second verse we read. And then also, you know, the topic for today being brotherhood is a commandment. Who would this verse be talking about in particular today? Give y'all a few minutes to see if y'all anybody's got it. The oppressor? No. You can use this for the oppressor because, of course, you know, we all know that his words are smoother than butter, right? That war is always in his heart, right? But for the topic of today, though, You understand? Because this is one of those verses that can apply to multiple things. So how do you say manifold, right? Let's see. Israel toward each other. Okay, yeah, but give me a little bit more specific. Who of our people, right, sis? Like what you said, of our people, whose words are the smooth like butter, but yet war was in his heart. Words softer than oil, yet were drawn swords. What is that war? What is those swords? Let me see. Thank you. There you go. Get that sister a hand. I'll take Christian pastors, like the sister said, but in general, man, black leaders, our black leaders, but pastors, Christian pastors is, I mean, they just running rapid, man. Especially since there's so doggone many of them, and they have such a vast amount of our people underneath them, right? He had put forth his hands against, so he putting forth his hands. He's putting forth his works against such as be at peace with him. So who is that referring to, man? That's that brother and sister that's in his church that, is at peace. Oh, not my pastor, but be struggling. You understand? He have broken his covenant. What is that covenant? Man, he took up that covenant of being a leader of his people and broke it because he's taking advantage of his people. He is going to war against his own people alongside with his oppressor, with our oppressor. To what the sisters has said. You understand? How you know that? Well, quite frankly, what do them Christian pastors damn near tell you? How, whatever you do, you could be a homosexual as long as you confess, Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, and he saved you in the blood of, you're saved in the blood of Jesus. You can still go to them gay bars. You can still go and, sleep with whores. You could go be a whore. You understand? You could do all the drugs that you want. You can go sell all the drugs that you want. As long as you paying me my tithes, you are more than welcome to come to my church and we can kumbaya, and I can tell you all these sweet nonsensical lies about the things you are doing will be forgiven. In other words, he took up the mantle. These pastors are taking up the mantle of being a leader for our people, but not leading them. You understand? Leading them to their death if there's any type of leadership that's actually being conducted. You understand? We're just being led into a slaughterhouse. You understand? Because mind you as well, those things that are allowed to happen in a Christian church, those things that are allowed to happen, those things will get you killed. The Most High God will kill you for those things. And that said, the Most High God is gonna, he's gonna have his time with them pastors, with our black leadership that have been failing us, that have that lack of brotherhood. You understand? That, hey, their love of the oppressor, their love of money is more important than what Christ actually said, even though that they love to quote what Christ said. Mind you, I'm pretty sure, them pastors love to pull some, John 13 and 34 and John 15 and 12, tell you that you need to love one another like you love yourself. Oh, they'll tell you that real doggone quick. But do they do it? Do they even love their brother? Do they even love their sisters? Do they even love their own people? I'm going to go ahead and answer the question right now. No, they do not. You understand? And it's always his church. It's never the Most High. Yeah, God. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna keep it a buck, sis. Not too familiar with that comment. She said, and it's always his church, not the Most High's. I mean, that makes sense to me. What you actually saying? I'm just not too familiar with people actually saying that. Because I mean, I'm not, to keep it a stack with y'all, I'm not too familiar with Christian churches, to keep it a buck with y'all. All right. I know enough that, you know, to teach a class, especially with the nonsense that, you know, Officer Shabal, Officer Bakar, myself, and Trooper Tazawar have seen for ourselves, you know, trying to just have an open dialogue with these, you know, doggone Christian pastors and how they conduct themselves. You understand? And then, of course, you know, little snippets of what you see on social media, you know, with how the Christian pastors conduct themselves, right? All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to drop that. As long as there's no questions, I'm going to drop that. Okay. Sister said, it's a fact, though. Train you be at. See, I'm supposed to get glasses. I really can't say it's a fact, though. Train you be at their church. Oh, train you to be at their church. Yeah, so not only am I blind, but, you know, my Hooked on Phonics subscription ended a couple months ago, and I'm not the strongest reader. You know, I'm a little retarded sometimes, especially when I can't see and I can't read. It's a lot here. But yeah, no, sis, and that's something that, you know, I've seen been spoken about a whole lot in the ISUPK. You understand? And quite frankly, when I had went to those couple of churches these last couple of weeks, you know, the things that we talk about in the ISUPK, how, you know, like for instance, General Hyman, he taught powerful class about the hypnosis in the Christian churches, right? And the hypnosis is, you know, basically they just say the same things over and over and over again. You know, like when I went to them doggone, they called them Bible study. It was Wednesday Bible study, but I think they read maybe 2 doggone scriptures and then sang about how God loves you and you need to pay your tithes for the rest of the hour and a half. But them 2 scriptures, they read that in like 30 seconds. You know, 30 seconds was probably too much of a time slot to actually read something out of the Bible, mind you. But then after that, they just sat there and pay your time. You know, like that's all it is. And they saying the same thing over and over. So like to the sister's point, right, is they train you to be in that church. They train you. They hypnotize you. They get you stuck on their nonsense. You understand? Hey, Shalom, little Christ says, good to see you. There's also hypocrites tied to, wait, what does that say? There is also hypnosis tied to the music and the gospels they sing. They have Sunday service on Wednesday nights. Khan says it was Sunday service on a Wednesday night. You know what I'm saying? And we was literally just going over that, Shemaiah, about how, you know, it's hypnosis. You know, there's, you know, y'all can look this up on your own time about the how science has discovered there's particular particular notes that you can play in a specific order, and music can literally dictate how you feel, how you think. Mind control, hypnosis. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you one of them Christians that go to church to just let the Holy Spirit just take over me and just don't even know what the hell you freaking saying. You're saying a bunch of gibberish. You don't even know what you're saying. So like I just remember seeing that when I was a kid for the first time. I asked, bro, Like, I'm sorry, but what did you just say? When do I learn how to speak that language? Oh, the Holy Spirit just takes over. Man, y'all, listen, it's hypnosis. Y'all just get way too involved in the music. Y'all get way too involved in the lies. And then that's why y'all act the way that y'all act. You know, Christianity is one hell of a drug. It's one hell of a drug. Because you know who else acts like that? Where they get real involved in the thing that they're taking, the real involved in the things that they're doing. Drug addicts. Drug addicts do that. You understand? So like, we need to get you some glasses for real. Yeah, I got an appointment coming up. That's not speaking in tongues. Okay, Quay, King, whatever, man. You go. There's Jimmy. Oh, okay, my bad. No, Kai, exactly. David Sue King saw music. I remember my first and last time experience at Christian church. Those people were possessed, man. No, exactly. Sensibilization. No, Khan. No, exactly. But all right, so like, don't want to get too sidetracked. We still do got I still got a class that I did want to teach y'all. You know, I don't want to be too much like the, you know, not even too much. I don't want to be like the Christian church at all. You understand? I actually want y'all to be able to tune into these classes so that y'all can learn something. All right. King Q. All right, Salakia, I didn't mean to, you know, if I offended you, you know, forgive me. Salakia, you know, like I said earlier, man, I'm illiterate as hell. I need some glasses. You know, the screen, you know, the comments is slick a little small anyways, but, you know, forgive me if I did offend you. King Q, I got it. All right. So, like I said, I don't want to be like the Christian church, man. Y'all come into these classes, into the ISUPK classes. You come into these ideas. You come into these classes to actually learn something from the priests and prophets of the Most High God. You understand? So let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 13 and verse 2. All right. The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 2. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I can remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. Now, y'all understand what was just said right there? Y'all understand what was just said right there? Even though I may have all this knowledge, even though I might have, you know, I might know all the mysteries of this Bible. You know, quite frankly, you know, the mystery of 9/11, the mystery of, you know, who murdered JFK, the mystery of all these stupid conspiracies, whether or not the Illuminati is real, and, you know, just all that other just nonsense. It don't mean shit. You understand? Excuse my language, but it doesn't mean a doggone thing. All right. This is, although I have the gift of prophecy. Okay. So what do you think that prophecy is about? Being able to understand this, you know, being able to prophesy what is to come. And what is that? What does that gift come from? And the Most High God even opening up giving it to you in the first place, giving you that understanding on how to read and even where to learn. You understand how to understand this Bible. You understand? Because that's how we even know how to prophesy today in the first place. It's because it is written. You understand? And then you get better at it as well. The more that you understand the Bible, the more that you start to understand the world that we live in. Like I know Captain Kotazai, he brings this up quite a few, you know, from time to time about how he remembers there was one time that Captain Maraquat had prophesied about how, you know, the food stamps were about to take a major hit, this, that, and the other. And a few days later, and the food stamps took a big ass budget cut. You know what I'm saying? Who else did something like that? I know Captain Mashak had something very similar to that as well. But the point is, oh hell, Salaki. I mean, Commander General Yohana, man, Salaki. Commander General Yohana basically gave us a play-by-play years ago when I first started coming into the truth. You know, I started signing in July 3rd of 2016. You understand? And he was giving us a play-by-play of what was going to transpire with Africa, with Russia, with China, the whole shebang, and was giving us a play-by-play on why the pieces were going to move that way. He literally prophesied those things. You understand? He's got John Hannah got that gift of prophecy. You understand? And understand all mysteries. Again, there's the only mysteries that even matter. It's the mysteries of the Bible. You understand? And all knowledge. And though I have all faith, so that I can remove mountains. So you got everything that, hey, basically you got all the equipment. You got all the blessings. You got, you just got all the equipment that you need to be, a mighty man in this truth, a mighty man on this earth, something great and powerful. Something that, your name will be talked about all throughout the earth, especially and particularly in the ISUPK, all throughout the midst of your people. Your name is in people's ears. You understand? Because of how powerful of a brother you could be, right? Because of all that you have. But then he says, and have not charity, I am nothing. So you have all those things, but you ain't got charity. And because you missing charity, man, you ain't shit. You ain't got nothing. You are nothing. You understand? Now, why is that so important? Who can tell me why that is so important with, coincided with what today's class is, what today's subject is? Let's see if y'all been paying attention. Let's see if y'all been paying attention. I'll give y'all a few moments while I get this set up, because I think we're going to finish up these scriptures. Oh, you know what? That's where we're going next. Okay. Cool. All right. Nobody wants to take a stab at it. I'm not seeing no responses. I'll give y'all a few more seconds. What is the significance of the fact that he said that you have all these gifts, you have all of these things, but yet you don't have charity, and so therefore you are nothing? What is the significance of that? All right, no sweat. Oh, we got one. There is no gain from having the knowledge. No, that is not what I'm looking for. Because there is plenty of gain from having that knowledge. You're able to pass that knowledge on to your people. You're able to build your nation off that knowledge. You understand? You can prevent your people and yourself from repeating mistakes. Hell, like I said, building your nation. That's pretty self-explanatory. There is no gain for, okay. Don't keep his commandments. No. So the answer that I'm looking for is the fact that if you are not willing to give, have that charitable spirit to give to those in need, and those in need, the only people that are actually in need on the face of this earth are so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. Okay. If you're not willing to give to them, give at least some of your time just to pass out some flyers, just to doggone talk to a brother, just to, be a part of a clothing drive so that they can have some fresh clothes on their back for the first time in God knows how long. Or to be a part of a food drive so that they can actually have a nice meal that's not coming out of a dumpster for the first time in Lord knows how long. You understand? If you cannot be charitable in any way to your people, you are nothing. Let me say that one more time. If you lack the ability to be charitable unto your own people, you are nothing. You're useless. You know why? Because then that just makes you a weak link. I would much rather take a brother that has absolutely nothing. Has no finances, just nothing at all. But anytime that you ask him if he is able to help, he's going to help. He will be there. Might need a ride to get there, but he's going to be there. I would much rather have that brother fighting by my side than some brother that has everything in the world, knows everything, got money straight, great job, 401k, the whole shebang, but ain't willing to give nothing up, ain't willing to give me nothing because you know what? Or not give me nothing, but just is unable to be charitable. You understand? I would rather take the brother that has nothing, that is charitable, simply just because, you know what? When shit hits the fan, that brother that has nothing but his charity, I know he's going to stay by my side. That other brother that has no charity, man, what's going to be in his mind is, oh man, if I get too far caught up in this, I'm going to lose my stuff. I might get hurt. I might, something might go wrong his way. You understand? He's worried about himself. When a person does not have does not have a charitable spirit about them, it's because they're only worried about themselves. They're selfish. That's why they are nothing. You understand? Real talk. Hey, Shalom, Lord of Christ, Officer Not Designed. It's good to see you, sir. But y'all understand, and quite frankly, you know what? Hell, Officer Not Designed, man, he was part of my graduating class for Hebrew Academy. He knows what it is. He knows what time it is. You don't want to be by somebody that is not willing to give you the shirt off their back, who is not prepared to sacrifice any part of their life, whether it's whether they got to give up a dry, just some dry clothes to you that they was prepared to wear tomorrow, but since you cold and wet, they're going to give it to you. If a brother ain't prepared to do that, to have that type of brotherhood, and in my opinion, that's something small. That's something that is something small in my opinion. You understand? Because there's a whole grander list of things that we need to be doing as far as the act of brotherhood. You understand? But something like that is small. And if you're not able to, be prepared to give your brother some clothes that you're able to give him so that he's not cold and wet no more, man, you useless. You ain't, like we all say, and you ain't shit. And that's really meaning it. That's not out of no type of pettiness. That's, real is real. You understand? Because who are you to stand by me when shit hits the fan for you? I'm supposed to give you my clean clothes, my dry clothes. Well, you wouldn't even do it for me. Now, I still might do it. I'll still give you them clothes, but I'll know when the time comes and when shit hits the fan, not even think twice about you. Aside from after everything is said and done, okay, is that brother all right? Can we get a head count? Can we get accountability? Is his brother still breathing? You understand? I pray that you do, because quite frankly, who actually is something, who means something, it's them brothers that is ready to lay their life on the line for their people, to lay their life on the line for that brother that is to the left and to their right. You understand? Put their life on the line for that sister that is in dire need. You understand? That knows nothing but just hate in her life because of how she's been treated all her life since she was a little girl. You understand? That brother that's ready to, that's ready to put his life on the line to protect her. That's who matters, because he's got a charitable spirit. You understand? And mind you, that charitable spirit lets you know that brother has got his nation in mind. He's got his king in mind. He knows that we need to walk foot for foot, step for step, just like our king did, so that we can actually rebuild our people. You understand? All right. We're going to drop that now. Now we're going to go to the book of 1 John, chapter 5, verse 3. The book of 1 John, chapter 5, and verse 3. Yeah, if I can find it, it's a lucky. Y'all got any questions, man? I encourage you and post them online, because mind you as well, you might be thinking the same question that somebody else is thinking. Man, sometimes you got to be the one to step up and ask the question for them. That in itself is brotherhood. That in itself is sisterhood. There we go. All right. This is the book of 1 John, chapter 5 and verse 3. For this is the love of God. This is the love of God. All right. This right here is, I believe, one of the biggest Christian killer verses that you can use to just, you kill a Christian, you can murder him. There's a straight massacre with just this one verse. All right. For this is the love of God. In other words, this is how you actually show that you love God. All right. That we keep his commandments. Hold on. There might be somebody that didn't hear me. Hold on. So let me read that again from the top. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments. Man. So in other words, when you hear these Christians talk about, oh yeah, I love my God, I love Jesus, I love God, just honestly looking and sounding stupid, because you know goddamn well they're not, that we keep his commandments. They're not keeping his commandments. So they just looking foolish. Because you know, as soon as they get done talking about, oh, I love God, praising God, they're going home being a homosexual. They're going home to smoke some weed. They're going home to smoke a cigarette. They're going home to sleep with their brother's wife. They're going home to sleep with another man. And I mean, hell, quite frankly, this is 2022. You know, that pertains to both a woman and a man, especially in the Christian church. You understand? For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. You understand, man? Listen. Following the Most High God, doing what the Most High God tells you to do, really is not that. It's not difficult. It is not. You know what's grievous? It's following all these stupid ass laws that the so-called white man has for us. Like, take one for example, marriage, right? There are certain circumstances where you can't put, your significant other, your husband or your wife, on your insurance unless you are legally married. So in other words, you have to get the government involved in your marriage for them to actually recognize that is your spouse. So which also means you got to fork out all that money just so that they can legally be your spouse, so that they can have some insurance, so that y'all can buy a house together, so that y'all can have certain benefits that, quite frankly, like, why? Why? It's tedious. It's tedious. You're coming after my pocket. And why? You understand? And of course, there's many, many other laws that it's just like, are you serious? You know, what is it? I know they got a law in is it Ohio? I think maybe it's Seattle. Is it Washington or is it Ohio? Whatever. You know, there's a state that you're not allowed to walk backwards while eating an ice cream cone. If they want to get stupid, they can hem you up for that. And why do you think they got them types of laws? You know, they're only going to enforce that on certain people. Do I need to name it? Probably, because, you know, Lord allow, we got some Christians that are in here that actually want to learn. You understand? Learn about this world. Learn about the Most High God, right? They're going to enforce that on so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. You understand? That is where I was going with my answer, sir. The answer with which one says Salakia. All right. Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God it's not difficult. Oh, okay. It's not difficult. It's not grievous. It's not going to be tedious. What? You really think it's going to be tedious for you to gather together with your people? Man, listen, you only think that's going to be bad because you've never been to a Passover. You've never been to the Feast of the First Fruits. You've never partaken in any type of high holy day. Where, mind you, where Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women are actually able to come together, pour up some liquor, and absolutely no fights. You don't know what that's like. So of course you're gonna think it's gonna be tedious to have to, you know, to make little travel plans to go and congregate with your people, to be amongst your people, to serve the Lord with your people. You just don't know. And quite frankly, you just too in love with the filth, those filthy sins that you do in the first place. Being a homosexual, being a drug addict, being an adulterer, a fornicator. You understand? You're too in love with doing them things. Too in love with being a murderer. You understand? That's why it seems difficult to you. About charity? Okay, come on, sis. It's a like you. All right. All right, we're going to drop that. Now we're going to go to the book of 1 John, chapter 2 and verse 10. Book of 1 John, chapter 2 and verse 10. All right. Oh, man. It's the book of John. It's like the book of 1 John, chapter 2 and verse 10. He that loveth his brother abideth in the light, and there is none occasion of stumbling in him. So that right there is let you know, man, if you love your brother, it's not going to be a secret. It's not going to be a secret that you are prepared to do what needs to be done to make sure that your brother is provided for and cared for, that he is okay, that he is going to be able to eat that night. He is going to be able to, you know, have a place of refuge for when times get harsh. You understand? It's not a secret. Not a secret to him and not a secret to anybody else. You understand? Where they can simply, actually, you know what? I'm gonna pull this what you gonna call it? Can't even think. Precept. It's a like you. We'll pull this precept real quick for you. Oh, damn. What was the keywords that I needed for it? So I can look it up. He that lovely, but better than light, and there's none occasion. Oh, now I know what I need. Hold on, so like here. John 13 and 35. Is that it? Let's see. John 13 and 35. All right. So this is the book of John, chapter 13, verse 35. This is I think this is a perfect precept for what we just read in 1 John 2 and 10. All right. This is John chapter 13, verse 35. This is Yahushua reading again, or speaking again. All right. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another. All right. People are going to know that you are actually a follower of Yahushua Mashiach in the Hebrew, or Jesus Christ in the English, if you simply just have love for your brother. And it's something that can be seen. So again, it's not something you do in secret. Like, frankly, if you're doing it in secret, like somebody, listen, you're doing something wrong. All right. I have a question on topic. What can and cannot be done on the Sabbath? All right. What's that brother name? George Sanders. I don't know if you're a brother actually, but George Sanders. Let me just finish this part right here, and then I'm gonna answer your question. All right. So again, it's not something that you do in secret. Everybody's going to actually know that. Matter of fact, let me take that back. People are starting to realize that the ISUPK is the truth because we actually have brotherhood. We actually love our people. We actually love one another. You understand? People don't look at us and just look at us like, oh, damn, I'm just looking at you and I can see from what, all right, it's like it. They don't just listen to the things that we say and go, damn, you know what? They do got that solid brotherhood. The ones who really know are the ones that see us, who see how we move amongst one another. You understand? Those are the ones that really know that, man, like ISUPK really do got that brotherhood. Nobody else has it. What you think you're going to find that at IUIC when they blatantly say in their camp, you can't even call it camp, in their Christian gatherings on the street corners right before they get beat up by a Christian that, hey, if you got a warrant, I'm turning you in. You know what? You know what's crazy? Jesus Christ had a goddamn warrant. Yahushua Mashiach had a goddamn warrant. You turn him in? Of course you would. Of course you would. You understand? Like flying our ISUPK banner. No shame. No, exactly. No shame. We got no shame in the fact that, you know what? Hey, these brothers to my left and to my right, I'm prepared to die for them. I'm prepared to lay down my life. And whatever that they need that I'm able to provide, I will be there. You understand? I will be there. I always, I myself always try to make that a point that, if a brother is in need of my help, so like you. If a brother or a sister is in need of my help, my assistance, if I'm able to give it, I will be there. You understand? If it's a financial issue and I have it, I'm going to give it to you. If it's something that I have that you need, I'm going to give it to you. Now, we'll hash out the details later. You need this, so I'm going to make sure that you have it. You understand? If it's something that I just want, but you need it, why would I put my wants over your needs? That's unbrotherly as hell. You understand? That is not something that Yahushua would do himself. You understand? So therefore, I wouldn't do it. You understand? And I pray that y'all wouldn't do it either. I pray that y'all actually learn something about some of this brotherhood. You understand? All right. Now, the brother it's like, I'm not sure if he's a brother. George Sanders says, I have a question off topic. What can and cannot be done on the Sabbath? All right. So to answer your question, it's actually real simple. All right. Do you want to cook? Are you asking because you want to know if you're allowed to cook on the Sabbath? Are you asking because you want to know if you're able to have sex with your woman on the Sabbath? Are you asking because you want to know if you're allowed to, I don't know, what else did people try to say? Go shop, go to the park. If you want to know, are you trying to get clarification on whether or not you can go do things that basically please you? The answer is yes, you are. What the Sabbath is supposed to be is a day for you. It's a guaranteed day that the Most High has set to the side so that nobody had to work. The Sabbath I'm just going to paraphrase the scripture. You can look it up yourself. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but you just look up the Sabbath was created for man and not man for the Sabbath. Okay. In other words, the Sabbath is for you, bruh. It's for you. Man, you want to, man, bruh. Do your thing with your rib if you're afraid of it. No, go tear that ass. It's like, go tear fire. It's like, go tear fire. If that's what y'all want to do, go tear fire on your girl. If you want to, if you want to take the kids to the park or go to some state park or something like that, man, go do that. If you want to whip up a big old feast meal, man, go do that. Because mind you, the Sabbath is for you. This is your day off. Okay. The only thing is, the reason why there's a big, what's the word? The misconception that we have with the Sabbath is, for one, okay. So you understand Most High in Christ, but anyways, I'm still gonna finish my thought. The big misconception with the Sabbath is, for one, we're still in oppression, so we don't even really truly understand, having a real day off. Because mind you, they try to get you to go to Christian churches every Sunday. When let's be honest, what Christian really genuinely actually likes going to them Christian churches? Y'all, our people only went because, ultimately we fear God. We do have a fear of God. We do have a zeal for God. It's just we have a lack of knowledge of God. You understand? Because the oppressor taught us in the Bible. Now that's exactly it right there, sis. That's really, that's where the big misconception even really starts in the first place. Because our oppressor taught us our Bible. Oh, that's crazy. Hey, if y'all know anybody that does Bible repairs, man, y'all let me know. Message me on that messenger thing on Facebook. Harak Yahweh. I would like to get this. This is my first Bible I ever had, especially in the truth. Damn thing is seen some miles. Anyways, man, it's seen miles. It's seen countries, states. It's been all over the place. I like it. But like what the sister said, our oppressor is telling us. Mind you, Sunday. You can look at the calendar. You look at your calendar. The first day of the week is Sunday on all your calendars. They're basically showing you, putting it in your face to let you know, hey, Saturday is the 7th day. But yet y'all still go to Sunday worship thinking that Sunday is the Sabbath, thinking that Sunday is the 7th day. That don't even make no doggone sense. Makes no, absolutely no sense. Okay. And then, of course, again, going right back to the fact that we are in oppression. So we don't know what it's like to have a genuine day off. God damn it, they won't even give you one. That's why you can get called into work on your Saturday, on your Sunday. They can still call you into work, and you better get your ass in there, or else they're gonna fire you when it makes no sense. Because I believe when I signed this little contract and whatnot to take this job, it did not say that I am guaranteed only, 6 days to work. I guess that's part of my problem why I be in and out of jobs my damn self, because I'll be telling them, I ain't doing this. Me. I'm off today. You lucky I even answer the phone. Don't call me with this nonsense. It's lucky. But, like I said, that's why I be losing my jobs. It's lucky. All right. So, George, you said you understood. So Most High in Christ, glad that I was able to answer your question. If you got any more questions on that, feel free to type it up in the chat, man. Whether it's on that or anything in general, and that goes for everybody in the class. You understand? And ISUPK, man, we encourage questions. You understand? We are here as priests and prophets of the Lord. We are here to edify our people, not to. Oh, you got a question? Well, make sure you see, man. Make sure you pray. Make sure you pay your tithes, man. That's not what we're doing. We're not the Christian church. You understand? We're not here to sing a song. We're not here to sit here and dance. This is not entertainment hour. You understand? We are here to edify our people. You understand? Because clearly the Christian church has failed George Sanders, because he had to ask that question in the first place. If the Christian church was actually, or the Catholic churches, Christian in the Catholic churches was actually doing their jobs, he would know this already. You understand? All of us would know that answer, but they are failing us. They're not teaching us the Bible. You understand? All right, we're going to drop that now. We are going to go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 9 and verse 18. The book of Isaiah, chapter 9 and verse 18. Right? 18 or 19? Yeah, 18. And again, y'all got questions, man. Put them in the chat. All right. So this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 9 and verse 18. All right. For wickedness burneth as the fire, it shall devour the briars and thorns, and shall kindle in the thickets of the forest, and they shall mount up like the lifting up of smoke. Through the verse 19, through the wrath of the Lord of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as the fuel of the fire. No man shall spare his brother. Verse 20, and he shall snatch on the right hand and be hungry, and he shall eat on the left hand, and they shall not be satisfied. They shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm. Verse 21, Manasseh, Ephraim, and Ephraim Manasseh, and they together shall be against Judah. For all this anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. Now, this is talking about the, basically the unbrotherliness that came between the northern and the southern kingdom, between Judah and Ephraim and Manasseh. You understand? And northern and southern kingdoms, right? Through all of that, it put us in a position where we're constantly stealing from each other. We're killing each other. We are devouring each other. You understand? The fact that it's happening today lets you know that this did happen before. It's like, what is it? Ecclesiastes 1 and is it 9? Maybe it's 10, where it says, "For there is no new thing under the sun." Right? It's Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. It's either 9 or 10, one of the two. So like, but you know, the fact that it's happening today, us mistreating our own today, lets you know, man, it happened before, and that's why we're reading this biblical account. You understand? We're reading this account in Isaiah about how we are just, man, we're stealing from each other. Like while I'm stealing, it literally said, with my right hand, I'm taking from you. But while at the same time, my left hand, I'm eating. So what do you think I'm doing, man? I'm taking a big old bite of this, stealing, putting it in my left hand, and keep on going. And I'm just taking what I can. And that's what we're doing to each other, so-called Black, Hispanic, First Nation men and women to each other. You understand? And of course, it all starts with the fact that our goddamn oppressors turned us against each other. The so-called white man turned us against each other to even act like this in the first place towards each other. But again, like I said in the very beginning of class, that is the significance of the ISUPK for so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women to be able to turn their lives around for the better. It only can happen here. That's why we have these classes, so that we can stop this. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? So that we can stop, destroying our own people, devouring our own people, stealing from our own people, just simply destroying our own people. You understand? That the ISUPK under commanding General Yohana, that is our sole mission, is to stop us from hating our own so that we can start loving our own and building our own. To not just build a community. That's too small. We're trying to build an entire nation of people who love themselves as individual and themselves as a nation. Because guess what we read in the very beginning of today's class? The new commandment that Yahweh Shai Mashiach had given you in the first place, that we are to love one another like we love ourselves, for you to love one another like he loved you. You understand? That's what we are building in the ISUPK under commanding General Yohana. You understand? Y'all got any questions on that? Go ahead and post that up in the chat. I'm gonna go on to the next verse. What is that? The book of Micah, chapter 3, verse 1. All right. It's a 3 or 1. One second. Give me 1 second. So I want to see. You know what? We might just end up just reading that whole chapter. It's not too long of a chapter. We'll just kind of break that down. All right. Oh no, that's the problem. I'm in the wrong doggone book. Salakia, y'all. Salakia. I was in Jonah. All right, here we go. I was wondering why that didn't make sense. All right. This is the book of Micah, chapter 3, verse 1. And I said, hear, I pray you, O heads of Jacob, and ye princes of the house of Israel. Is it not for you to know judgment? So right now, Micah is saying, man, and I said, here, I pray. So he said, man, I need y'all to hear this because I'm praying, man. I'm praying for you. Oh, heads of Jacob. So that is literally our black leadership. You understand? The sons of Jacob, the sons of Israel, Jacob, same. You understand? They, that is our black leadership. All right. And ye princes of the house of Israel, is it not for you to know judgment? So our leadership is supposed to know judgment. Judgment meaning when something goes wrong, there's supposed to be a judgment. It's basically the consequence. You understand? Our leadership is supposed to know the consequences of whatever actions, good or bad. You understand? Because judgment is what happens according to your deed. You understand? Verse 2, who hate the good and love the evil. Who's that sounding like? All over again. Man, we talking about the Christian and the Catholic pastors and priests and bishops and whatever the hell else. Who pluck off their skin from off them and their flesh from off their bones. Basically, now see, here you would go to get an understanding of what we just read right there with the flesh, with where he say who pluck off their skin from them and their flesh from their bones. You would want to go into to Genesis. What is that? The second or the third chapter when Adam gets Eve and she says, "Well, this is my flesh of my flesh, bone of my bones." But these people are basically, it's like calling what's that brother name? Samuel L. Jackson played. What's his character's name in Django? Samuel L. Jackson played him, but that's a perfect example where this is a brother looking at Django. These are the same people, but he real quick to sell out his own as if he ain't a nigga him damn self. You understand? He's loyal to the wrong side, which that in itself is evil. It's like it. Which that in itself is evil. How do you know that is? I mean, hell, look at what we just read at the top of this verse. Who hate the good and love the evil. If Christ himself was saying in what we read in, what was that in Matthew? It's like in John 13:34 and also in John 15:12 that we are to love one another as we love ourselves. Anything opposite of that is evil, because anything opposite of that is unbrotherly. It's unsisterly. You understand? And how do you know that it's unbrotherly? How do you know it's unsisterly? God damn it, we went over it in the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17. We're not supposed to hate our brother. We're not supposed to hate our sister in no means. You understand? But yeah, that flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. Basically, use that to help explain what was just said in that last part. You understand? Because the leaders are hating their own. They're so in love with evil that they hate their own. Like, take for example, all of the churches that we went to, right? We talked to the black pastors, but they weren't like the main pastor of the church, right? Of each of those churches. The main pastor of those churches was a so-called white man, right? I guess you would call it a sub pastor or, masses minions. I don't know what you would call it, but it sure as hell fits the bill. But anyways, they were brothers. Okay. When we tried to talk to them, they literally sounded like old boy off of Django. No, Massa ain't playing that. Massa ain't going for that. Massa ain't gonna want that. You understand? Massa don't want you to come up in his and talk the truths in his house. You hear? You understand? They didn't want that. Because now, mind you, junior pastor minion man, whatever the hell you want to call him, whom of which is a brother, like I said, he already knew. All right. He already knew what we were about, but also he wanted to protect the interests of his master because of the fact that he ripped off his skin, ripped off that flesh, you understand, to be like him. He's trying to be like his master, you understand, because he puts his master over us. He puts our oppressor over us, over his own. You understand? Well, hell, we couldn't even go to him and basically bring this scripture to him. He really didn't want to hear. Neither of them wanted to hear us out at all. It was too much truth. Oh no, there's too much medicine. It's too bitter. That's what he acted like. All right, let's read on. Verse 3: who also eat the flesh of my people and flay their skin from off of them, and they break their bones and chop them in pieces, as for the pot and as flesh within the cauldron. You understand? These pastors are chopping up their own people. You understand? They're chopping us up and just, setting us up to be devoured. You understand? To be devoured in all manners. You understand? Financially, I mean, that's the biggest thing. You understand? I mean, you can literally look at it and how somebody can sit there and pay all those tithes, be so invested in this church, they're investing, paying all those tithes, and as week goes by, months go by, years go by, you see them losing weight. Of course, because America is so damn disgusting, they think, oh, good for you, you lose some weight. But then they get to a point where they look like they got a whole ass tapeworm in them. But that's just because they're being stolen from. You understand? That black pastor is against him. That black pastor is against her. You understand? 1 second. Okay, now y'all got to think what happens after that. If our leadership is turning their faces away from those that they are leading, from those that are following them, what do you think naturally what the people, what are the people going to do themselves? They're going to follow after their leadership and turn against their own. You understand? This lets you know in itself altogether that there is no brotherhood in Christianity. There is no brother in Catholicism. There is no brotherhood anywhere else on the face of the earth except for in the ISUPK under Commandment General Yohanan. You understand? Nobody loves so-called blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women more than the Most High God in Christ and the ISUPK. You understand? Nobody else is going to look out for our own except for our own. And quite frankly, the only ones that even consider their own, well, you know where we're at. We're in the ISUPK. You understand? With that, I'm going to close it out. You understand? Make sure that y'all tune in on our Facebook, ISUPK Las Vegas. Make sure you hit the the thumbs up on the page so you can like and follow our page. Also go on to our YouTube, ISUPK Nevada. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bell sign so that y'all don't miss any notifications, any classes that we come across. And we do all sorts of things like between podcasts, interviews, of course, as y'all see, classes. You understand? So you just don't miss any of the news or the information that we have to put out. You understand? So with that, class dismissed.